Good morning, students. We are going to be starting a unit on perspective. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a one point perspective lesson on just forms. And a form is a shape that is three-dimensional, so it not only has height, it has width and depth. Like if we're looking at like something like this, this is a rectangular prism, okay? But something that is flat would be like a square, a circle, anything that is and has an extra, has depth to it would be a form. So this has height, width, and depth. So that's what the difference between a shape and a form would be, okay? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing on a piece of paper. Doesn't matter what kind of piece of paper it is. You can also use any type of drawing materials. It could be a pencil, it could be a color pencil. Doesn't really matter to me, just as long as you have the forms that I'm requesting you to have. So first thing that I would like you to do is get a straight edge. So it could be a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you can use a pencil, like the edge of a pencil. You can also use another piece of paper. So I have another piece of paper right here as my straight edge. So what you could do is you can take the piece of paper and you're going to be making something that is called a horizon line. That one's a little bit wobbly. So let me try that again. This is a little bit more solid. So you're going to be making a horizon line. So that's called a horizon line. So anytime you are looking at a mountain range, or if you're looking at water, let's say you're at the beach and you're looking at water and you see the edge of the water right here, this is the horizon and this is the horizon line. So in drawing, there are a few different types of vanishing points. We're just going to be working with one just to simplify this. So what you're going to do is you're going to be putting a little dot, and this is going to be your vanishing point, where everything lines up and goes to. So we're going to start first with cubes or rectangular prisms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be drawing a square. Okay, so I have my square drawing right here. You can use your straight edge, okay, if you're having trouble drawing it. So I have my square. Now this square is going to only turn into a form by going to my vanishing point. So here we go. This line right here, this point right here, is going to go to this vanishing point. This one right here is going to go to this vanishing point. This one right here, this point right here, is going to go to this vanishing point. Okay, now this just looks like a really long cube. So the way that we cut it off is we make parallel lines. So this line right here is going to be parallel to this line. And this one right here is going to have a parallel line too. And remember, you can use the straight edge for this. And then you're going to have to erase the lines that you don't need. Now, we're not going to be doing this one right here because we don't have to. We don't have to make it go to the vanishing point unless you're showing the inside of a box. You could do that. But we don't really need that. Okay, so we have that one. Anything above the vanishing point or the horizon line, let's say you drew a box up here, we're going to see the bottom of the box. So I'm just going to make a floating box just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So here's a square. Just draw a square. This is going to go towards the vanishing point, and please use your straight edge for this. This makes it a lot easier. I know when you don't use it, and remember, you can use another pencil for it if you need it. Okay, so I have that drawn. Okay, so now I have to draw the parallel lines. Now this line has to have a parallel line. This line is going to have a parallel line. Okay. All right, so now we have kind of a floating box. This one's on the ground, this one's up in the air. I'm also going to be making a box that's a little closer to the vanishing point, and I'm going to make it smaller to give the illusion that this box is the same size, but it's a little bit closer to the vanishing point, making it look smaller. So you can also use this line right here. So if I want to, I can just go like this and use these vanishing points. So now I have a box that is about the same size in illusion, but it's smaller because it's closer to the vanishing point. Okay. Also, I'll make one more just because. I'm going to request that you guys make 3. I'm making 4, just so that you can get an idea. Now, this is going to go towards the vanishing point. Vanishing point. Oh, that was a little high. Beep. And then now anything that gets closer to the vanishing point, we are not going to see the top as much. So you can see a lot of the top of this because it's closer to the bottom of the page and further away from the vanishing point in the horizon. Anything that is close to the horizon, we're not going to see the top as much. So I'm going to be paralleling these lines. All right. So I have my boxes. Now you can turn these boxes into whatever you want, but we're also going to be drawing cylinders and spheres on this page too. So just to give you some practice. Now with a cylinder, let me find a cylinder. I found a cylinder here. It's linseed oil. This is for oil painting. So what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be drawing our cylinder based on this bottle right here. Now, if I have the bottle like this, you're only going to see like 2 rectangles, one right here and one right here. But when I start turning it, that starts making you see the top of the bottle, which is the circle shape that you have on a cylinder, and the bottom of the bottle as well. So that being said, we're going to start first by drawing in 2 lines. Then we'll draw in 2 lines going towards the vanishing point, just to give the illusion that it's going towards the vanishing point. We're going to make another cylinder down here. That's why we're making those lines. So we're going to be making an ellipse on top. Try to make it as large, maybe as this one right here. But when you start turning the bottle, that's when you're going to see this ellipse happening. And whatever is happening to this part right here, you're going to be drawing it down here as well. You do not want to draw a straight line across right here. What happens with that, if you draw a straight line, then it gives the illusion that it's just flat at the bottom, which is not the case. It's round at the bottom. So we want to make sure that we're demonstrating that this form right here is round. Let's go ahead and make another one right here. We're going to be making 2 lines that go down. Okay. Okay, there we go. We're then going to shorten this up a little bit because it's closer to the vanishing point. So we're not going to see all of the circle. Okay, we're going to see less of it. Okay, and let's just make one more on this line. Whoops. You see a lot less, so it's a lot flatter, and it's getting a lot smaller. Whoops, let's make it. Let's see. There we go. That's right. So I fixed my mistake before I erased it. This is going to be a lot flatter. This is going to be a lot flatter too. So here it's a lot rounder, gets less round, and then it's getting flatter. Right here, same thing. So if it's closer to here, the vanishing point in the horizon line, that's when it's going to start looking like it is more of that rectangular shape. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make another one up here so you can see what a floating cylinder looks like. Maybe like somebody threw a can of soda up in the air. So we have that. We're going to see the bottom of it. Okay, and unless you have your cylinder, if you're making a series of cylinders, you don't really need the vanishing points. Okay, so now that we have that done, we're going to start making spheres. Hopefully I can find a sphere in my studio, so I'll be back. Okay, I have found a sphere. It's kind of organic in shape, but it's the most spherical thing that I have. So it's a hacky sack, if you don't know what that is. So it's a little game that you play by kicking it up in the air. So what the sphere is going to do is it's going to show that it is round, okay? So the only way to make this look spherical is with shading, okay? And we'll go over shading in a second. But I'm going to draw a few more lines going towards the vanishing point so you can get that idea. You can make your three forms on this. So you can see that it's getting smaller. Now the only way to make your form look like it has any, or your circle look like it is going to be a sphere, is with shading. So we're going to start working with shading now. So shading, we're going to put our light source right here. Light source, LS. It could be a light bulb. It could be a sun. It could be anything. It could be a glowing phone. It could be anything. So if we have a light source that's hitting the sphere down like this, everything is going to kind of radiate around this, and this is going to be the lightest part. Same thing right here. Now you don't have to draw these lines, I'm just demonstrating for you. So right here it's hitting and it's radiating, hitting and radiating. And then we also have something that is called a cast shadow. So this is a cast shadow, and then if this light source is hitting right here, this cast shadow is going to go more over to the side. So here we can see a little bit more. You can see the cast shadow here. Okay. So my light source is actually up here, and here's my cast shadow. So what we're doing is we're hugging the base of the ball right here, or sphere, and then we have another light source right here, and it gets a little bit further out. You can also draw a line going to the vanishing point to really get an idea of where your cast shadow is going to fall. Okay, so same thing. If you have a light source that's hitting the cylinder, you want to make sure that you draw your lines the width of the cylinder, okay, and then you're also going to draw the top of your cylinder. Now, because it's round, okay, you're going to be showing that it's round as well. Okay. Now, because these objects right here are floating, we're not going to have a cast shadow because the only way to make a cast shadow is if something is close to a surface, okay, or if it's on a surface. So I'm casting some shadows on my paper right now. That's a cast shadow. Cast shadow. If it's floating really high, you won't really be able to see an outline of a shadow. Okay, a light source is hitting these boxes. It's going to just reiterate the shape that I have. So it's hitting the back right here. Okay, and then this one is hitting the side. We're not really going to see the front of it. It goes off to the side. All right, now this light source is going to be creating shadowing effects on the surfaces. So the lightest part of your shape or form, your form, would be the lightest value. Okay, I'm going to use the edge of my pencil to demonstrate this. So this is going to be the lightest, okay? Then I'm going to go around, okay, and then we're going to go darker and darker. Now if you want to practice your cross hatching because you're going to go into a higher level of art next year, you can start doing that. Practice your cross hatching. That'd be awesome. Okay, and then we're just going to keep going back and forth. I've made tutorials on this before, so you can go back in my YouTube channel in order to see some of those, but I am not talking because usually I'm in the classroom. So if you want to go back and just see some drawings that I've done in the past, you could do that, but I wanted to make sure that I made a new video for you so you can see. Now you can see some of the things. I paint on this table quite a bit, so try to get on a surface that is a little bit more flat and doesn't have idiosyncrasies such as paint or scratches on it. All right, so now this is giving the illusion that is turning into a form. All right, and if I made something too dark, I have an eraser, so I can erase it. Okay, now on a cylinder, the surface is going round like this. So when you're making your surface of it, you want to, or your shading of this, you want to make sure that you're going in the direction of what you're going to be shading. I'm going to flip this off to the side so it goes with my natural curve of my hand. If I really, really wanted to make it the natural curve, then I would flip it completely over like this. Because my hand naturally curves like this. So that makes it a little bit easier. Now the darkest part of this is always going to be the opposite side of your forms from the light source. So the darkest part of my cylinder is this part. Then it gets light over here, and it gets lighter over here. Okay. So you can get the idea of what I am talking about. Okay. So then your cast shadow is going to be pretty flat and dark. It's kind of like the shape of your form, but it's just, it's not exactly that way because your light source is above and it's a little bit smaller. It's kind of like when the sun is above you and you're looking at your shadow, it doesn't look exactly like you unless the the light source is really far down. It's almost near the horizon line, maybe a little bit higher. The further it goes down, the longer your shadow is going to be. Okay, so we have those done. We're going to be doing this one right here. Now, the darkest part would actually be on this side, okay? And for shading purposes, this is going to be your darkest side of your box. Kind of being a little messy with my shading, but I'm just practicing. Okay, and then this would be pretty light, and then this would be the lightest. Okay, and then we have a really dark cast shadow. It's casting from every edge of your box. Okay, and I kind of was a little bit messy with this. I can erase lines if I need to. Okay, all right. Now, what I want you to do with this composition is be creative with it. After you're done shading it all, you can create this into something that you would like and enjoy. Like you can turn your spheres into anything you want. You can turn them into apples, you can turn them into oranges, you can turn them into cherries if you want to. You can turn this can into let's say a water tower if you want to, because that's kind of where it's at. You can make a person down here and it's throwing this box over here, or you can make things coming out of the box. I want you to be creative with this. This whole project needs to be done by Friday of this week. So it's just one project. One project for the entire week. It'd be cool if you could work on it every day for a little bit. So spend some time working on it. Maybe draw out the composition on Monday. On Tuesday, you can work on your shading. On Wednesday, you can start coming up with how you're going to turn these into something else, like a creative scene. And then on Friday, you can just render. Okay, so those are options for you. I don't know if I went over every single day, but make sure you spend some quality time with your drawing. And then when you take a picture of this, I want it to just be the picture of your drawing. I don't want anything else in the background, okay? I just want to see the drawing. Try to get a nice quality picture by getting a light source on it. You can go outside and take a picture of it. That seems to work really nicely. I'm going to speed up this drawing so that you can see what I'm talking about as far as being creative. And then I'm also going to see if I can find some ideas online for you as far as being creative with forms. Okay, so have a great time with this project. And if you have any questions as far as how to shade something, or you're having issues with a form and you don't know how to draw it, please email me and maybe we can set up a time to discuss how to do it. Okay? All right. Have a great week, everyone. Bye. All right, so now I want you to be as creative as possible with this project. You can make this into a scene if you want to, or if you want to turn it into some kind of still life composition, That's up to you. You can use any medium that you want. You can use colored pencils. You can use crayons, watercolor if you have it. Anything you want would be just perfect. Pencil, if you just have a pencil and pen, that would be great, or just a pencil would be perfect too. Now you can turn the scene into anything you want. It could be a still life composition, it could be a scene, it could be something that's surreal, it could be anything that you want. Spend at least 4 hours on this project. Have a great week. Bye.